All right, guys, welcome back. Krazy4KVs RC here. I'm Tim. Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 8 of the Krazy4KVs podcast. If you're watching this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Help me out. Leave a comment down below. And thanks for watching. If you're listening to this on Spotify, other podcast platform, go ahead and like the podcast, subscribe on there as well. I know it's been a little while since I did my last episode, but things have been kind of crazy. Summertime, there's always, outdoor activities, things to do, family-wise, friends, projects around the house have been taking up quite a bit of my time. And I've kind of had longer hours there at work, so, but I have been doing RC. We have been, slowly grinding away at some of the projects I have with not a lot of progress to show. Video updates on the channel have been pretty slow, but haven't gone anywhere. Still in the hobby. Been doing a lot of selling and buying on Facebook Marketplace, in the used market, mostly selling, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. All right, so we always start every single podcast with a channel update. So episode 8, today is actually the 4th of July. Happy 4th. We did most of our 4th stuff a couple days ago. Barbecued, things like that. It's really, really hot outside. Not a lot going on, I don't think. Heat index, I think, is like 112 here in Georgia. So pretty unbearable. So just kind of having a lazy day, wrapping up a long weekend, back to work tomorrow. So figured I'd knock out a video for y'all. You guys are seeing this. It's the 5th. But yeah, the channel is doing really well. It's steady. I had a really big influx the beginning of the year, sort of the end of 2022, but right now we're sitting at 495 subscribers, almost at 500, 2,400 watch hours. I think like 36,000 total views, which is really cool. I've definitely kind of taken a step back. This moved down in my priorities a little bit, trying to spend quality time, with my wife, knock out some house projects. I'm in the middle of staining a very, very long fence right now. So prepping that, staining, things like that. But enough about the boring stuff. Next, usually we talk about, new stuff for the channel. Usually I'm talking camera gear, microphones, things like that. I actually really like my setup. I really like my camera. If you aren't aware, I run a Sony ZV-E10. It's a 4K camera. It's definitely made for like vlogging, mirrorless, but the lens it comes with is pretty good. It's actually really good, just generic. I think it's 18 to 50 mil. Maybe it's 16 to 50. I don't remember exactly, but what you guys are seeing this on is actually a brand new lens. This is a wide angle lens from Sony. I'm actually zoomed in a good bit right now. So in the future, when we're working at the workbench, I should be able to get the entire workbench in the camera as well as me. It'll make it a lot better. If I can't, it'll still be better off for sure. I can get the whole workbench on this camera, and maybe I can put myself on the GoPro. But as far as like gear for the channel, that's really about it. Recent videos, I say recent. I haven't posted a video in a few weeks, almost a month. Things have been kind of crazy. I did post an A1, RC Speedy A1, running at Cherokee Rock Village. That was while I was at ECC. And really, really fun video. I like it. Posted it running the cut and shuts from West Desert Wheeler. Those are really awesome tires. Starting to get those broke in pretty good. At least kind of get that initial mold release and all that, crud off of there. Starting to perform pretty well. I actually did a live stream a couple weeks ago where I unboxed my Trucks of Freedom. Vanquish, as I know, is still running. It's kind of a mystery box. 2 different tiers. I think 650 and 500. I don't know if I remember the prices exactly right, but I went for the higher tier mostly because there was chances of limited edition axles, and I thought that'd be pretty cool. When I bought, no one knew what colors they were. Turns out they were dark earth, which is great, and they're F10Ts. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't get those. I'm not going to spoil everything I got. Go back and give the live stream a rewatch. the unboxings pretty early on. I kind of let a few people drop in, and then eventually, I unboxed it, and then we sat around and kind of BS for a little bit. So you don't have to watch any of that if you don't want to, but it was actually really fun. We had 10 to 12 people, but they were very engaged, a lot of questions, comments, things like that. So it was actually a really fun. It was hour and a half, and it went by super quick. So looking to try to work some live streams in once I, kind of have a few more things to talk about, or maybe starting to do this in a live stream format, and then I'll do a quick little edit on it and upload it, the audio to Spotify for the podcast. But that's about it for videos on the channel since the last podcast episode. So what else have I been up to with RC? I did a partner competition. Jake's RC, his YouTube channel. I don't know if he's got any videos out yet. He's looking to possibly start doing some shorts, some small videos. He's actually local here to me in Augusta. Me and him went and did a partner competition out at a dam south of Atlanta, and really awesome terrain. Kind of similar, honestly, to Cherokee Rock Village. Not quite as nasty. Got some really unique terrain to it, and it's got a lot of overhangs and things like that. So it's really gnarly. It's really easy to get bound up, get tires stuck in there, bodies stuck in there. This not so bad, but the actual rock is pretty similar. I think it's granite as well, and it's all natural. And there's tons of lines out there. We ran 3 courses. We could have probably easily had 5 to 6. And I think you could run class 0 all the way to class 3. So lots of diversity. Me and him are actually looking to try to go out there, set up our own gates, and just run some lines. Right now, really hot though. Even if we leave at 4 or 5 in the morning, you're only going to get a couple hours before you really start just sweating. I ran my C2 truck from ECC, and it's the Cliffhanger running the Ground Fox chassis. It's got a VFD twin, F10 portals, it's got some brass. It's got a 10 shooter in it, 2700 Mamba Micro X2, and a 777 servo. So really good setup. I actually did fix the steering. I got it a lot better, shortened the steering link on it. Ideally, you want your steering and your panhard link to be the same length. I think that's typically the setup you want with like a stand-up standard servo. That Ground Fox has a lay-down servo. Helps with the CG a little bit, but it does kind of, inherently give you some bump steer. So shorten that steering link. Kind of got things a little more dialed, and was able to get the full steering angle out of the truck with very little bump steer, just right at the very end of the full steering angle. It was a really awesome experience, super fun, very laid back, no time, 10 gates, no bonus gates, but the courses were really tough. So a lot of basically the whole concept is you and your partner just have to get through all 10 gates. Your partner can, go around gates, get up an obstacle, and you can winch off of them. No winch stick, nothing like that. So a lot of winching practice. You can kind of see back there on the workbench through my the mesh back of my chair. 4Runner hard body is going to go on a VS410. I got the links on, running the right wheelbase. I got the holes cut in the body for the shock mounts. I got the Shrink RC body mounts on, all the holes for that. Right now we're just prepping the body for paint. I got a nice scrub with some, hot soapy water. It's going to get some primer, and we're going to start painting it. First hard body color I'm not going to reveal, but it's something I think is pretty fitting for, an 85 4Runner. It's not a factory Toyota color, but I think it's pretty fitting for that. Also, I've been flipping some stuff, selling some stuff I had, just trying to thin things out, stuff I just don't drive. We'll get more into that detail later. So, new things as far as RC things on the channel here. Let's see. Number one, let's all talk about this Losi, the Pro Moto, the 1/4 scale dirt bike. If you haven't seen it, which I hardly believe anyone who's into RC hasn't, but it looks awesome. The videos look awesome of it running. It looks like it's very usable. It actually looks like it functions like it's supposed to. I love that they have the 2-in-1 in there running the gyro, as well as, the enhanced radio with all of the AVC stability control, kind of limit your wheelie, limit your traction. It looks awesome. You get 3 different modes. You got wheelie mode, dirt mode, street mode. Ordered it off of Horizon, so I'm hoping I did not see the coupons advertised for the Proline Supermoto tires, but I'm going to get them either way. My bike has not shipped yet, but a lot of people's have. I think some people have them already that hit the pre-order like the first day. I was a couple days behind. I was in the middle of buying and selling, and I had just made a very large purchase when that was announced. So it was kind of a bummer, but sat on it for a few days and decided, you know what, I'm going to get it now because it's probably going to sell out. But look forward to getting that in my hands. Probably do a little bit of video. We have a really good dirt track here, so I look forward to going out there and running it. I don't think it's going to tear the track up too bad. The track, they run nationals and stuff like that at this track, so I want to be respectful of them. But as long as it's not tearing it up too bad, I'll probably have it out there quite a bit because it looks like a great time. I bought the green one only because I didn't want to think about battery size or anything like that. And part of my buying and selling, I actually ended up with a Spectrum Smart charger, a little bit nicer charger than comes with that combo, and a 3S LiPo. So I'm going to swap the chargers and sell that combo with the little bit cheaper charger that's coming with the dirt bike, and part ways with that 3S. I don't run EC or IC battery connectors on anything besides this. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Probably buy a second battery. I think people are only getting like 10 to 15 minutes runtime. You're running 2 motors, and the one is basically screaming at full speed the whole time. So on the gyro, I can't imagine you get great runtime out of them. So I'd like to have at least another one. What else have I got? I got my Relarlo AK917 on road. It's like kind of like a Traxxas 4Tech, I would say. Definitely got some nicer parts on it. It's got, a good bit of aluminum. It's got metal drive shafts. It's got very, very stiff differentials in it, but they are, actual diffs. They're not locked. 4-wheel drive. And I bought it as a roller. I ended up just putting a Max 10 in it. My intention was they were running a speed challenge. It's kind of all summer. You have to qualify before July 15th. Well, I didn't get the car until a week or so ago. Thought I had a motor for it. Motor does not fit. It's way too big. It's a 42 millimeter diameter can. And yeah, the only size that'll fit in there, the biggest, is a 36 mil. So Hobbywing actually makes their Max 10, I think it's 140 amp Gen 2, which is a censored combo. They make it from, I think, 2200 or 2600 all the way up to like 4,000. But decided I probably don't want to spend that money on there right now, and I think I'm just going to forego the speed challenge. I'll keep it. It'll be my only on-road car, at least for now. One of the things that discouraged me was by the time I got it, Raz Schifrin had already hit like 125, 130 miles per hour in his. I think people have even surpassed that. So prospects of me winning, just throwing a Hobbywing motor in there, not very likely. I'm not going to do any custom aero for it. Just not really where my heart's at right now, but it is fun. The setup I have in there probably does 30 to 35. I have the small Max 10. I think it's like a 60 or 80 amp. Motor stays nice and cool. So overall, pretty happy with where it's at right now. It'll do donuts. It'll rip up and down the street in the neighborhood. So we're talking buying and selling, and I have bought and sold a lot of stuff. Mostly sold, but I bought a big lot. So a guy local here, actually, a viewer of the channel, or used to be, kind of got into the hobby. He bought a Phoenix RTR and then saw my video on the C3 and decided just to jump in. And he ordered a RC Speedy C3 titanium, the machined hood, grill, fuel cell, sway bar, pretty much the works. Everything you could get for this thing. The billet trailing arms. Ordered some Spec RC wheels, a few sets, some different tires, foams, and a Mamba X, a Polar Pro 2700, a 777 servo. Kind of went all out. Q series, Vanquish lights. I actually did some soldering for him for his Q series lights. He didn't have a soldering iron, so took care of that for him. A couple weeks ago, I saw he was trying to sell just the C3 as it was. It was kind of in a roller state. Wasn't quite finished. No electronics in it yet. I think he had the motor, but the ESC wasn't in there. Did have the headlights in. It was pretty much all the way assembled. Asking a price, definitely within reason, a price that he, definitely had invested into it, but didn't really look at it. I already have one. I love the way mine's set up, and it was very similar to what he had. So, fast forward, it was about a week and a half ago, and he decided, I want to get rid of everything. He also had one of the old school Broncos when they were on sale from Axial, the SCX 10.3s, which had never been ran. There's not a speck of dust on this thing. And he had all the parts left from his Phoenix RTR that he disassembled. He had bought some Vanquish VS410 Pro, machined aluminum axle housings for that C3, and 3 sets of Spec RC wheels, a couple sets of Proline tires, some of the Vanquish Falcon tires. I think those come on the RTR. Definitely missing some other things, but let's just say the price that he asked, I couldn't really pass it up. I shot him a price a little bit less than that. I was like, you know what? If he takes it, I don't really want to spend this much money right now, but this is a pretty good opportunity for me to, part it out and keep the things I want and probably still make a little bit of money. So I ended up shooting my price. He was like, yep, come get it. So it was local, didn't have to worry about shipping. Met him that day, picked it up, sent him the money. And he was happy to get rid of it. He was just like, life happened and he needed the money, more than he needed the RCs. So, which is unfortunate. And I think there's a lesson to be learned there. It's okay to jump in, but maybe don't jump in on something like that. Jump in on an RTR or a kit, just a regular kit, put a few parts on it, put some nicer electronics in it. But don't spend, $2,000, $2,500 on your first build, especially one that's going to take a little bit of tuning to get it right. He still needed probably another set of shocks for the rear. Needed to get it all finished and wired and kind of packed in there, and everything just kind of buttoned up. He also was going to have to get the panels anodized or, a wrap done because they were all in the raw. But the day I bought it, I stripped it, took pictures, posted the chassis for what I thought was a pretty reasonable price. It got bought within 10 minutes, had it shipped out the next day. So I was already pretty happy about where I was with my investment, I guess. Listed a bunch of other stuff. I've sold some of it. I'm still sitting on 3 sets of Spec RC wheels. If you want to buy them, there's a red one. There's like a dark bronze or like a matte bronze. And then there's like clear anodized. They're like chrome deep dish. Really cool. All 1.9. Spec RC wheels can be hard to get, especially like older ones. These are all within the past few months, but I don't think you can get any of them right now. So leave a comment. We'll find a way, or go over to my Instagram and I'll DM you some pictures of it. And then I'll get you over to my Facebook or whatever. We'll talk about payment and we'll figure it out from there. But I don't think I've ever had anyone unhappy with anything I've sold. I always package things really well, insure it when I ship it. I do like PayPal goods and service because it kind of protects us both. So, but enough about that. But I ended up with the old school Bronco as well. And like I said, all the parts from the Phoenix. So I took the Phoenix apart, or all the parts out of the C3, and basically reassembled the RTR. I had gotten rid of the set of Wild Peaks, kind of in a separate lot. I'll get to that. But I threw a set of Proline KM3s, brand new, basically. A little bit of dust on them. They had been ran around in the dirt, it looks like, but still plenty of life on them. And threw some stock foams in there, some stock Phoenix wheels, and listed up the Phoenix RTR for a really good price. It was basically new. It was ran maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then disassembled to put into the C3. Sold that as well. All at, I think, very reasonable prices. I try to keep things, fair. Usually you can get about, if it's really well used, you're going to get about 50% of, the truck value. Usually your aftermarket parts really don't add much unless it's something people are going to put on there anyway. But considering this was basically new, asked a little bit above that. And I think the buyer's happy and I'm happy. So I've recouped most of my money by now. But yeah, it was fun. It was one of those things, target of opportunity. Guy I knew he actually existed, and just went for it. A couple of things on my own that I sold. So the original Ground Fox aluminum chassis rails, I actually made that into a slider. Pulled my wheels off of it, pulled my tires, all my electronics, and sold that to Jake's RC here in Augusta, with a few other things, but a set of incision drive shafts and those tires, the Falcon Wild Peaks, the bigger ones, the 4.65s. I decided to sell my Jeep, which I just sold a couple days ago, and pull my radio out of it. Sold it with a ISDT ESC in it. It's got a Trailmaster 21 turn. Pretty decent setup, better than stock. If you were to buy an RTR, definitely better than those stock Axial electronics, but very good, budget friendly. Body's not perfect, so someone can run it and beat it up a little bit, not feel too bad. And it's just one of those that I didn't really care too much for. I ended up putting the portals back on it and kept the straight axles because I think I'm going to run those on C1 for this next year. Any competitions I do, specifically ECC 2024 though. I had the old school Bronco that he had. It's all stock radio, stock electronics. I had it all listed. And decided that I was going to keep that. A little more interested in that one than I was in my Jeep at the time. It may leave eventually if I decide not to do anything with it, but for now it's going to stay. And I also kept all the electronics that I pulled out of that C3. I kept the billet trailing arms for my C3. They're going to go on mine. I'll have a spare set of the standard trailing arms just in case something happens. And additionally, I also kept a Vanquish sway bar, brand new, never used, and the set of Q Series lights. Let's move on to maintenance upgrades that I need to do. I just talked about the trailing arms on the C3. Need to put those on there. Need to get that thing out for another run. I think the water's down a little bit at the lake. Probably some decent terrain to trail it, but I would love to take it out to the dam that I was talking about and kind of stretch its legs a little bit and see how it does. But another thing I need to do is I need to rebuild my A1 shocks. I think I've talked in the past about they pretty much pushed all the oil out. I don't know why. I'm going to completely disassemble them, buy a rebuild kit, and put new seals in them. Probably buy the machined pistons, maybe even the machined shock caps for them as well. So let's talk about things to look forward to, upcoming things. I still have some first run footage of a Hilux body. It's one of the Lexan Hilux bodies where I brazed up the bumpers. It's basically done being edited, just haven't got it finished up and pushed out to y'all. So hopefully that'll be coming very soon. The running footage is nothing special. It's from when I was at Stone Mountain, but it did pretty well. I actually like the truck. It's very simple, but it was fun. That might be one I look to part with though, just because I don't see myself driving it. It's not a real performer, and might as well let someone get some use out of it. But it was fun to do some brazing, try it out. The 4Runner RC4-wheel drive hard body we're starting to get rolling on that. Gonna start painting it. I've been kind of slow to pick my colors and a little bit timid to actually start and cut holes for shock mounts and stuff. It's a very expensive. I think that body kit's like $165. Didn't want to mess it up, but today I broke out the Dremel and cut some holes, and they're not the prettiest. They're pretty good, but I think I'm going to do like a battery box, toolbox, cover those up, and just throw a real nice little small 3-cell battery to go in that, and cover up those shocks, cover up the shock holes, and also house the battery. So it's going to be a little while. It's really humid here. It's really hot. I don't want to risk pushing the paint too much, so I'll probably do, a coat at night, and then the next day when I get home from work, do a little bit of prep, or maybe even wait a day or two just to make sure that paint cures all the way. If you watched the live stream, you saw some progress on that WT4 from Cross. So probably just going to wait till I finish this 4Runner. Having two hard body builds going simultaneously, a little bit overwhelming for me. Definitely not my wheelhouse. That WT4 is very involved. I was going to build it and then disassemble it and paint it, but I decided I'm just going to paint it and then assemble it. Just be really careful. So I just have to kind of learn how it goes together, so I know what colors to do on what side. I don't accidentally, paint the bed one color on the top and the wrong color on the bottom, vice versa. So just got to figure it out, and I'm really in no rush to finish that. The biggest thing I want to have that done by is the haul and crawl that the local Georgia Rock Zombies do. That's in October. I do have a little bit of time. It's going to sneak up on me though. I know that. So we're going to push the next couple of weeks, going to try to get the 4Runner done, and then I can kind of turn the slow burn attention to that WT4, just go straight into painting that, and haven't decided on my paint scheme on that. I might do box art just to keep things easy, but probably not. I'm thinking a little bit darker, maybe black with some blue or with some red, or even some yellow or orange or something like that. You guys might see some like workbench vlogs. I have a lot of little things that I want to do, but it's not really, doesn't really constitute a full video. So I might just kind of piece some of that together, show you guys, instead of talking about what I've been doing or what I'm going to be doing, just show you, put it out, little things here, little things there, just to keep some content coming for you all. It might be something useful, but one of the big things, I've definitely put some videos out. I don't think they're bad. Well, they're definitely like not videos I'm the proudest of. I think I just kind of try to push videos out just for the sake of pushing them out. I don't really want to do that anymore. So if there's a couple weeks in the between, that just means I'm kind of brainstorming, taking my time, putting things together. But I do want to go out on an early morning out to that dam, take some cones or some gates, I guess, tennis balls, and do another like shootout style, maybe even two. Take a whole bunch of batteries, and it's really quiet. I don't think anyone would be there, and just knock out some good content, and probably get some first runs or some running footage on some different terrain as well. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're not watching, really no benefit on this episode to listening versus watching, but remember, before you go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let you guys know kind of what's to come. Always stuff kind of brewing here at Krazy4KVs, just a little bit slower right now as life takes a little bit more priority. But thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.